What answers have we got to the first one? 12, angle 47 degrees. B, minus 52, angle 45 degrees. I'll agree with that. C, minus 35, angle yep, agree with that. Where are we? D, 56, angle 52. Yeah, I agree with that. And lastly, E, on that side, 36, yeah, 3 times minus 12 is plus 36.
Angle 38 degrees.
Minus 16. Minus 16 plus minus 22.
38. Minus 38.
Minus 38. F. Two, I'll agree with that. Angle 17 degrees, agree with that. G. Minus 12 over 4 is minus 3. Angle 17 minus 18, minus 11. H. Minus 3. Minus 37, yeah. I. 4. Angle 122, yeah. And lastly, J. 3 angle 6 degrees. Yep. So there are your answers, gents. Okay. So multiplication and subtraction and division, of complex numbers in polar form, not particularly difficult. Okay? Are you all happy that if I give you some questions to do like that, you'd be able to do them for assignment and so on? Yep. Right. Multiplication of Cartesian or rectangular complex numbers. These are the numbers in the J form. Multiplication of rectangular complex numbers is achieved by multiplying out the brackets. That's why we've done the multiplying out of the bracket exercise earlier. Multiplying out the brackets and using the fact that we know J squared is equal to minus 1 will help us to simplify that thing. So what we're going to do is look at this one, 3 plus 2j multiplied by 4 minus 5j. So the earlier method was to multiply everything in the first bracket by everything in the second. That's the algebra involved here. So we've got to do 3 times 4 12. Let the multiplication of the two numbers handle the sign between them. So we've got to do, we've also got to do 3 times minus 5j. 3 times minus 5 is minus 15j. Then we have to do 2j times 4 plus 8j. And lastly, we have to do 2j times minus 5j. Minus 10j squared. Yeah. So let's write that out. We can immediately bring minus 15j and plus 8j together, can't we? So let's just write this out again. 12 at the start. Minus 15 plus 8 is minus 7j. Someone already said this is minus 10, right, times j squared, and j squared is equal to minus 1. So what would that n be equal? 12 minus 7j, 10 minus 10 times minus 1 is, I've got a minus 10 and a 10. Who's right? Explain. Minus times a minus is a plus. So it makes that plus 10 on the end. Okay, so the j squared, listen guys, the j squared changes the sign of that number there, that coefficient. Alright, so now you can do 12 plus 10, you can bring the two constants together. 22 minus 7j. Yeah, well, if you're multiplying out two complex numbers, you're always going to end up with, in the first instance, you're always going to end up with a constant, 2j terms, and a j squared term. Yeah, and that j squared, because that's minus 1, is always going to have the effect of changing the sign there. So if it's negative, that'll make it positive. If it's positive, that'll make it negative, won't it? Alright? And then when we come on to the division, you'll see another trick that happens with the j squared that's quite important. But anyway, so that's how we multiply two rectangular complex numbers together. Alright? And you need to get proficient with that. So have a go at those ones. The dot means, gents, multiply, yep, alright. Right, gentlemen. First example, Z1, 1 minus 3j times minus 2 plus 5j. Answer. 13 plus 11j. What's the consensus on that? 1 times minus 2 is minus 2. Yeah. And minus 3 times 5 is minus 15. The j squared is going to change the sign of that. So it's plus 15 minus 2 is 13. I agree with that. And then you're going to end up with plus 5j and minus 6j. Alright? 1 times 5 is 5. Minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. Yeah, plus 11j. I'd agree with that answer. Yep. So hopefully everyone got that. What have you done with this second one?
I did the minus 13 plus 11j.
Yeah, because you're already multiplied them two together. And multiply that by the third one.
No, it's just, that would have made it so much easier. Yeah. No, it's just because I worked out like the longhand method, doing that all over again.
And that I got 5 minus 85j.
5
Minus 85j.
Everyone agree? Right, gents.
Yeah, what was the answer? 5 plus 85.
5 plus 85j. If you haven't got that, you can need to work out why you haven't got it. Yeah. Right, this one. 3 vectors represented by P is 2 angle 30, Q 3 angle 90, and R 4 angle 60. Determine in polar form the vectors represented by P plus Q plus R, P minus Q minus R. Have I taught you how to do that yet?
Yeah.
Have I taught you how to add polar complex numbers? No. Let me tell you how I'm going to suggest that you add 2 polar complex numbers together. Like this. Convert to rectangular, add them together, and then if you want your answer in polar, convert back. Do you remember last week? Very last thing we did was took a little look at how you use your calculator. Well, no, you wouldn't, because you weren't here, were you? Right? How you use your calculator to convert between the 2 forms and back again. So I guess I better do one of these and show you how to do that again, ain't I?
Yeah.
First thing I'll do here is convert all 3 of those vectors into rectangular form. 2 angle 30 degrees. In rectangular form. How do we do that on our calculators? Yep, shift, rec, and then what? Who? What's the very first thing we should check, gentlemen?
You've got the thingy set on the
Calculator set to degrees.
Yeah.
So we press 2, sorry, shift, rec, which is on the minus sign, 2, shift, the comma on the closed brackets, and then 30, close the brackets, equals. We get x is 1.73 to 3 significant figures. Y is 1, so that's plus 1j. Put it in wrong then.
You got to put in degrees. Yeah, we got to